The conflict between Ukraine and Russia is very complicated. It is a complex issue that started many centuries back. The dispute right now has originated after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. At that time, Ukraine became an independent country. But the status of Crimea was left unresolved. It was transferred in 1954 from Russia to Ukraine, but the situation got worse in 2014. This has created a strong international response. All the efforts to resolve this conflict were not successful. The recent war between these two countries has left the world speechless with their military powers. In this video, we will discover and compare the power of Ukraine's and Russia's air force. Which country do you have the most powerful air force? You will be able to answer this question after watching this video. If you are as curious as me to discover the strength of the air force of these countries, let us dive in, guys. Ukraine is the largest country in Eastern Europe with a rich history. This country has played an important role in developing Eastern Europe. On the other hand, Russia is the largest country in the world. This country is also rich in history and culture. Russia is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Because of the recent dispute between Ukraine and Russia, the world has witnessed the showcasing of both of their air force strength. Now let us dive deep to know more about their air force. Like most countries, Ukraine also has an air force that is a branch of its armed forces. The airspace of Ukraine is protected and controlled by the Air Force of Ukraine. They are responsible for conducting air operations and various missions as well. Before the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Ukrainian Air Force had more members. But after the collapse, the number gradually decreased. The budget was very limited when compared to other larger countries. The Air Force of Ukraine has a wide variety of aircraft. When the Soviet Union was dissolved, the Ukrainian territory was left with some aircraft. The inventory of the Air Force has the aircraft that were made at that time. To strengthen its Air Force more, it is developing aircraft, and one among them is the Antonov An-178. Entering the Air Force is not a simple task. The candidate should take part in training and tests. The pilots of the Ukrainian Air Force are well trained. With all these strengths, the Ukrainian Air Force was able to shoot down 55 Russian warplanes during the recent conflict. Now you might be wondering, what will be the power of the Russian Air Force? Let us find out, guys. Russia is the largest country in the world with a powerful air force. The Air Force of Russia is part of the aerospace forces of the Russian Federation. The Russian Air Force has more members than the Ukrainian Air Force. There are various units, and all the members are divided and are organized into those units. The units include bomber units, transport regiments, helicopter detachments, and many more. They have more advanced aircraft and fighter jets. Su-27, Su-30, Su-35S, and Su-57 are some of the fighter jets that the Russian Air Force has. The Air Force has taken advanced steps to increase its military strength. The pilots need to go through hard training to be a part of the Air Force. The pilots need to attend practical flight training on different aircraft types. So when we compare the air forces of both these countries, we can understand that the Russian Air Force is larger than that of Ukraine. Russia also has more budget to grow its air force. When we take a look at Ukraine, they have more financial problems, so they don't have more money to expand their air force. While the Russian Air Force has more advanced aircraft, fighters, and bombers, the Ukrainian Air Force only has a mix of Soviet-era aircraft. But they do have some modern aircraft as well. Russian Air Force has more rigorous training than of Ukrainian Air Force. The strength of the Russian Air Force was visible in many conflicts. The recent conflict between Russia and Ukraine also proved this. So now you might have your answer. Russia has a more powerful air force than Ukraine. The Russian Air Force shows the power of Russia in military operations. Even though the Ukrainian Air Force is facing several challenges, it has never failed to showcase their power. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure you show us some love by smashing that like button and subscribing if you haven't already.